Welcome to the garage. I'm Robert, and this is haslipcycleworks. Today should be a quick episode for you guys. If you watch any welding channels or any fabrication channels, you hear a lot of people talk about it, and they tell you you should do it, but they never show or really explain why. What I'm talking about is why you should tack your work pieces before you try to run a full bead. So what I'm going to try to demonstrate for you guys is why you're supposed to do that and what you're trying to prevent by doing that. For those of you who are new with welding, with any process, or fabrication in general, when you apply heat to steel, and we're going to focus on steel and stainless steel. So when you apply heat to steel or stainless steel, it expands. Remember that in middle school or high school science class? So let's say you have a square and you're welding on this side and it's a tube. What happens when you apply enough heat to run a full bead across one surface of that tube? Well, for those of us that don't know, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and move you real quick. What I have here is some 11 gauge 304 stainless. Then I have some square thin wall 304 stainless. Just an aluminum chill block to keep this from warping. And it's just aluminum. And all it does is it takes the heat and it kind of sucks that heat out of the stainless. And because aluminum dissipates heat quicker than stainless, it acts as a heat sink. We want to keep this as flat and true to the table as possible so it doesn't skew our results. And what I have is a stainless steel ruler, our genuine MetalWorks speed squares, another good use for these things, and our clamps that we made in a few videos back. So what I've done is clamp this piece to the work table. We have our chill block and we're supporting our ruler. What I'm going to do is I'm going to burn a weld on this side and show you just how much it moves and why it's important to jump your tacks around to fix your workpiece before you burn it in completely. We're going to see just how much movement there is and how much trouble you can get yourself into and how much work you're going to create for yourself if you just run a bead before you tack it in place and make sure it's secure. So facilitate that, and to show you as much as possible, I'm going to have 3 cameras running. One from the, hopefully, if it'll focus and work right, one down here close to the puddle, so you can see I'm not trying to play any games. I'm not faking anything. I want you to see that I am going to run a full bead through here. We're going to use stainless steel filler wire. I'm going to have another one that's going to focus in on the stainless steel tubing and the ruler, so that if it does move, we'll see just how much. And some of you may have noticed that the ruler is upside down for those of us that prefer inches. I'm going to use millimeters only because it's a finer scale, so that if it does move, we'll be able to see it a little easier. The third one is going to hopefully be from above and down so that you can see how it moves. So hopefully I can get all that squared away and synced. So fingers crossed for me here, guys. I am going to be using, in case you wanted to know, my GLS Fab cup, the Teflon cup. It's number 12, 3/32, 2% thoriated tungsten. It is clean and polished. It's a very nice point. We are going to have plenty of gas coverage. You'll see that in the color of our weld. And we will be using 1/16 diameter stainless steel filler wire. So I'm not dropping indifferent metal in there, causing some crazy reaction. I'm trying to show you guys why this is important. I'm not playing any tricks here. Just want to show you what happens and the science behind why you hear some of these guys that have been welding for a while. They tell you to tack that stuff, but I don't think they understand that some of us haven't been welding for years, so we don't know what happens. So I'm going to try to fill that gap for you guys to show you what does happen and why you're supposed to do it and why they always tell you to. Now, I went with stainless because stainless, the effects are a little exaggerated with stainless. Stainless is a reactive metal. That's why you get those real pretty colors when you weld it. But it also, stainless will actually shift more and grow more when heat is applied to it. If some of you guys are bikers or work on cars and you've built exhaust before, when that exhaust gets hot, you can actually see that it will extend past the rear bumper a little bit when it gets hot, and then when it cools down, it'll shrink back and it'll be right where you wanted it. Same thing with turbo manifolds and that sort of thing. When you see them cracking all the time, it's because as it expands, it's got nowhere to go. It's locked in, so it just starts cracking. I mean, there's just no way around it. Stainless just grows when it gets hot. So hopefully we can capture all this and you can see what's going on and why it's important to tack your work pieces. So I'm going to get the other camera set up. Wish me luck, and we'll get it synced and we'll start recording and show you what really goes on. So as you can see, that moved quite a bit. So if you were to, say, cut and notch a piece of tubing to run between two frame rails, say on a motorcycle, and instead of tacking it, you just went ahead and burned a full bead on one side, it may not line up on the other side. So now that we've seen what happens when we just burn it in and don't tack it or secure it, let's go ahead and reset and clean our pieces off and do it the right way. Let's tack all four corners and see what we end up with. Well, hopefully that came through on the camera. When we did our first tack, it did move, but then I pushed the tube back until the corner was all the way down, and I tacked that, and we just went caddy corner. And hopefully on this camera you can see it hasn't moved. It initially moved, but we were able to push it back and tack it, and should be good to go now. So what I can do now is, it's not going to move. I mean, it's on there good and solid. You can go ahead and burn this all the way in. So do this side, switch over to this side, maybe let it cool, do the back, and then the front, and your tube should be relatively straight. So hopefully that sheds some light on why you're supposed to tack and kind of the science behind it. And hopefully if you've been struggling with your pieces warping or moving on you, now you know why and you know how to fix it. So just a real short video today, guys, nothing crazy, and hopefully this helps you out. So until next time, get out there and do it.